Prospect spotlight for UFC 240 Holloway versus Edgar is a big one. It's mean Hakeem Dawodu. He's mean, he's 21 Savage's slightly more attractive brother, and he's a savage beyond all else. Okay, he's a very good fighter. He's 2-1 in the UFC. If I am thinking of the correct person, he is 2-1 in the UFC. I have done my research, as you can tell. And he's a good guy. One thing, I definitely think he's going to beat the guy that he's fighting. So that's why I'm picking him for my prospect spotlight. He's 2-0 recently in his last two. Very promising. He's beat some decent guys such as Austin Arnett, who was off the Contender Series. Hasn't had the best run in the UFC, but a tough guy and doesn't really go away too easily. So Hakeem Dawodu skating past him with flying colours really did the job. Then Kyle Bochniak after that. And Kyle Bochniak, most well known for... He got beat up by Zabit Magomedsharipov, and then in the last 3 minutes started turning it on and actually winning the fight against Zabit. So, you know, some decent names on his list already at featherweight. But I will say this. Something that does worry me about Mean Hakeem sometimes, and I like Mean Hakeem. I just like saying it, if I'm honest with you. Something that does worry me about him is that there are times in a fight that I feel like he could so easily put on the pressure and find the finish. Or just so easily be a bit more active. And I think that's why his split decision win to Kyle Bochniak was a split decision. Because I had him clearly winning the fight. But when you're not that active and the other guy's coming forward at you, it's kind of a tough one to judge. We just saw it with Hernandez and Trinaldo. You know what I'm saying? When the guy's being more active, it looks like he's doing way more. But Mean Hakeem, he kind of just stands there and he's so patient with his shots. But the guy that he's fighting, very promising guy, okay? He's a rising star and his nickname is the Rising Star. He's new to the UFC from Pancras. Yoshinori Horie. Very nice. 8-1. He's been finished once in his career by TKO. I'm not going to look into that. I think that Mean Hakeem Dawodu is going to get this job done by decision, and it's going to be a fucking boring fight, I'll tell you that, because that's how Hakeem likes it, okay? But this Rising Star guy, I'll tell you why I've kind of been hyped up on these Asian prospects coming over. But when you look at them in Asia, they have a lot of similar names on their record, okay? You recognize a lot of names between people's records. And you look into those names, and it's not like you've come up from World Series of Fighting and then to here where there's actually some legit fighters, or you've come up in Bellator or come up in Cage Warriors and you've beat some decent guys. A lot of times in like Pancras and some of these lesser organizations in Asia that aren't 1FC, you see a lot of fucking bad talent in there that's just sort of there to get a paycheck and lose. You know what I'm saying? Like last guy he beat was 12-7. You know, that's a decent record. Is it enough to make me think you can beat Hakeem Dawodu? I'm not sure it is. I'm really not sure it is. And then I look at the other guy that he beat by TKO. 12-18. You know, I just knew this before even looking at it. Then I look at the guy he lost to by TKO. 12-9. Then I look at another guy. 12-8. There's not a plethora of talent outside the 1FC in Asia where there's a bunch of savages on the come up. Okay, you normally see that there's one guy that rises through the rest of them, and then 1FC goes, oh, fucking give me that. And they snatch him up, and they bring him into 1FC. Okay? But, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just don't think he's going to be able to do enough to beat Hakeem Dawodu. I think Hakeem Dawodu's very technical striker. Very technical striker. I would like to see him sort of be a bit more active in some fights, because it makes the judge's job a little bit harder when he's not really throwing much and throwing only what he needs to win. You need to be doing a bit more than that if you're going to make a statement and get the attention that you want from the UFC. However, Leon Edwards is proof of that doesn't mean anything. You know, you can fight however way you want. If you're winning, and you're winning over and over and over again, eventually you'll get to where you need to be. Kamaru Usman is probably the most boring fighter in most casual fans' eyes there is. Champion. Wins enough in a row. Talks enough. Champ. That's how it works. Me and Hakeem Dawodu's going to get this job done by a close decision, I believe. And I want to see how he does with the rest of the time, because I think this is a good one for him. You know, a young, hungry guy coming up. It's not like a big stepping stone in his career. You know, it's just like He's staying at the level he is. I just want to see him beat one more guy. He's a young guy. He's 28, I believe, coming into his prime. So, you know, he has a lot to learn before he really gets to the top of the division. But if he wins this fight, he is just another name coming up at featherweight, because that division right now, before when Holloway moved to 155, it was like, okay, who's he going to fight though? You know? When Holloway first moved to 155, it was like, yeah, we get it. He's kind of beat everyone that's in any way relevant. Since then, Zabit's won a fight. You know, Yair Rodriguez won a big... I think that was before that. But Yair Rodriguez still on the fucking map. Korean Zombies won a big fight, so he's back in the fucking mix. You know what I'm saying? You got Calvin Kattar coming up. You got Shane Burgos coming up. You got fucking Arnold Allen coming up. You got Makwan Amirkhani still putting on good performances and winning on the come up. And now you've got Hakeem Dawodu. And I'm telling you, a lot of people think that... And I think Max thinks as well that he wants to jump straight back up to 55 after he beats Edgar. I feel like he has a lot of work to do at 45, I'll be honest with you guys, because that division is slowly but surely becoming very, very stacked. And we're going to see if the old-timers at the top, the veterans, can keep off these young, hungry, powerful, big guys coming up, like Calvin Kattar, who I think is probably one of the most promising prospects there is after his knockout win over Ricardo Lamas. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Featherweight's getting very interesting. Me and Hakeem Dawodu. Very good fighter. Very good fighter. Someone to look out for. I think he gets it done by unanimous decision. Maybe they give the other guy a round. Okay, but you'll hear the decision and you'll be like, oh, he probably didn't win, but we get it because this is a boring fucking fight. Okay? Like and subscribe. Click that button there. And goodbye.